Let me get educated about this situation a little bit more.
I'm not gonna lie, I made it a little bit more difficult than it needed to at the end.
I'm not going to get into specifics of that. There was a number of things from July that, to me, is more of a business side, dealing with lawyers and stuff and contracts. And coaching
Anthony
over 20 years,
Calandria.
I've never been in a situation where a contract's been voided. So
This
it's
college
extremely
player?
unusual to me.
Brandon Aiyuk just pulled off something that's very difficult to do in the NFL. 15 months ago, he signed a 4-year, $120 million.
Oh, this was last year he signed his deal. I don't know why I thought this was this year, but again, that's still recent, super recent. A year ago for a 4-year, $120 million deal.
Contract extension with the San Francisco 49ers. And just
I'm gonna check him out after this year.
The 49ers voided
Sounds
over
familiar.
$26
Is he going to the draft?
million in guaranteed money. And Aiyuk
So they voided 2026 money. Oh yeah, yeah. I seen that already. Yeah. I seen it on Over the Cap.
isn't even fighting it. He basically said, yeah, go ahead, cut me loose. And here's the wildest part. This might be one of the most predictable disasters in recent NFL history because the warning signs were there from the very beginning. But to understand how Brandon Aiyuk fumbled a generational bag, we need to go back to where this all started going wrong. And that takes us to Las Vegas, February 11th, 2024, Super Bowl 58. Now, before we get to the content, we're giving away jerseys to a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel. Just comment in the comment section down below what jersey you want, and we're running the same giveaway on my Instagram page. You just need to follow my Instagram and have my notifications on. And real quick,
great
just a
free
quick
agents, spell it for
announcement.
defense.
We've been dominating
We'll get to
in my
that.
brand new Discord server
I'll
on
look
a
at some.
monthly basis in a variety of sports, in the NBA. It's their second Super Bowl loss in 5 years, and Brandon Aiyuk is walking out of Allegiant Stadium field having just caught 3 passes for 49 yards. His friend Drayshawn Hudson was watching, and he clearly wasn't happy. Hudson immediately went onto Instagram and posted, "Why does your all-pro 1,300-yard receiver have 3 catches in the Super Bowl?" Following the game, Brandon Aiyuk would give a very emotional interview.
Just guys that came in to work to be champions every single day. That's all I got. Thanks, Brandon.
I was about to say I wouldn't even talk to the media like that. We'll go ahead and take that fine.
Yeah.
The very next day, Aiyuk's girlfriend posted a TikTok that sent 49ers fans into panic mode, saying this.
Okay, this might have been the last day we touched but on Levi Stadium, me and Braylon, because we might not be out here next season.
And then his friend Drayshawn
Interesting.
Hudson posted the most direct message. "This is the exact same reason we're leaving San Francisco. Thank you 49ers for drafting my brother. We are forever grateful. BA to Vegas." Aiyuk himself posted to Instagram, "Don't forget what got you there," with eye emojis. When reporters asked him the next day if he wanted to stay in San Francisco, his answer was ice cold. If that's the right move, yeah. What does the right move mean? And his answer was being a champion. Now look, you can't totally blame Aiyuk for being frustrated. He just had a career year, 75 receptions for 1,342 yards and 7 touchdowns. He made second team All-Pro. He was one of Brock Purdy's favorite targets all season. He was one of the best run-blocking wide receivers in the entire NFL. And in the Super Bowl, he barely saw the ball. Even Brock Purdy admitted after the game that he regretted not targeting Aiyuk more, specifically on a key third down where he threw to Jawan Jennings instead of hitting Aiyuk on a blitz. But here's where things started going sideways. Instead of handling all this privately, Aiyuk was about to make his contract negotiation one of the messiest sagas of the 2024 offseason. Fast forward to June 2024, the 49ers are in minicamp, but Brandon Aiyuk, he's nowhere to be found. He skipped mandatory minicamp, racking over $101,000 in fines. And then on June 17th, he dropped a bomb that would define the entire summer. Aiyuk posted a TikTok video of himself FaceTiming with Jaden Daniels. Daniels was his former Arizona State teammate who had just been drafted 2nd overall by the Washington Commanders. Now, this is before Jaden Daniels became the rookie phenom that he would eventually be, but in the video you can hear Aiyuk telling Daniels,
They said they don't want me back.
I do remember this.
Now think about this from the 49ers perspective. 3 months earlier, general manager John Lynch had said publicly that
So I think there's a weird connection with him and the team and the coaches now. Team, no. Like, unless there's some details that, I mean, obviously there's some details we don't know about. But it's like, he's not out here. If he's not out here because he's injured, then that's his own business. It is what it is. He can't play, so it is what it is. I don't know. It's 50-50. I seen Jawan Jennings interview about it, and he was just like, Juwan was like, he his own man. Like Juwan made it seem like it's not a big deal. So some players may take it personal, some don't. 'Cause at the end of the day, he's his own man. What he got going on is his business. I think as a individual player, like you got to be focused on what's going on with the team. Like you can't be worried about what's going on outside of the team. But some people may take it personal, some may not. Same thing with the coaches. Some may take it personal, some may not. They can look at it as like it's just business, and it's just business. That's why they voided his contract. So I don't know. They may not.
They appreciate the heck out of Brandon, and they want him to be part of
Can you open up Instagram to react to edit on stream? Yeah, I can.
the 49ers. And Aiyuk's response, he posted an Instagram story with emojis that basically said, money talks, BS walks. The 49ers were not happy, and neither was Brandon Aiyuk, who was watching other receivers get paid that offseason. Justin Jefferson got 4 years, $140 million. AJ Brown got 3 years and $96 million. Amon-Ra St. Brown got 4 years and $120 million. And Aiyuk was still playing on his 5th-year option worth $14.1 million. By July, things had reached a breaking point. Aiyuk requested a trade, and suddenly half the NFL was calling. The Patriots were in. They were willing to offer Aiyuk $32 million per year on a 4-year deal, the highest offer on the table. But Aiyuk didn't want to play in New England. The Browns were in. They offered $30 million per year on a 3-year deal. Aiyuk said no, he didn't want to play in Cleveland either. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's where things got interesting. Aiyuk had a connection with Mike Tomlin from the 2020 draft process, and the Steelers were offering $27.7 million per year. By mid-August, the Steelers and 49ers had agreed to trade compensation. Pittsburgh would send the 49ers a 2nd and a 3rd round pick for Aiyuk. The deal was done. The papers were drawn up. And then, the day before the season started, the 49ers had medically cleared Aiyuk to practice. And when he refused to take the field, they were ready to ship him to Pittsburgh. Again, the paperwork was done. This trade was happening. But then, early that morning, Aiyuk showed up at the 49ers facility and went straight to Kyle Shanahan's office. He told Shanahan he wanted to stay. Shanahan tried to call the front office to stop the trade, but he couldn't get through because they were literally on the phone with the Steelers.
That's crazy. Something is odd about this. If he went in there and said he wants to be a part of this team, again, and they just signed him to a contract last year, you're getting paid. I don't know. I mean, I would assume it's something on Aiyuk's side, on his end, but it's interesting.
Finalizing the deal. So Shanahan ran across the facility to stop them in person. The 49ers gave Aiyuk an ultimatum: sign the contract we've had on the table since August 12th by the end of practice, or you're going to Pittsburgh. Aiyuk signed 4 years, $120 million with,
let me see,
$76 million guaranteed. He was now the 5th highest paid receiver in the NFL at $30 million per year. Aiyuk would later admit,
I think, I'm not gonna lie, I made it a little bit more difficult than it needed to at the end.
Gee, you think? I mean, I understand playing hardball, but Aiyuk definitely took it to a different level here. Here's the thing. You would think this is where the story should have a happy ending. So our receiver gets paid, stays with the Super Bowl contender, and everyone moves on. Except that's not what happened. Not even close. The season started and Aiyuk looked off. Through the first 4 games, he had 24 receptions for 227 yards and no touchdowns. People started wondering if missing all of training camp had hurt him. And then came September 27th, the shorts incident. The 49ers were having their Friday walkthrough where everyone wears shorts. It's supposed to be casual, but Aiyuk
Right now, you get ripped into by Kyle Shanahan for not wearing right colored shorts.
showed up wearing red shorts while everyone
I look like ripped into. Look like he getting talked to. Why are ACL injuries the biggest downfalls for wide receivers? I don't know. I mean, because they cut a lot. So when running routes, they do a lot of cutting. So, and I think that ligament is definitely necessary for that. So that I mean, that makes sense. Would you be down to add me? Yeah. I'm gonna send you my PSN. That's my PSN. You're the best Bears user. Interesting. Okay. Who wins the NFC West? Rams.
else was wearing black. Kyle Shanahan walked over and appeared to
Is Diggs the only wide receiver who's been good after ACL? I'm pretty sure there's more. I can't think off the top of the head, but I mean, plenty plenty of players have tore their ACLs before and came back and did good.
Threw him out in front of the entire team. Aiyuk threw a mini tantrum, took off his shoes, kicked off the red shorts, and changed into black ones right there on the field. When reporters asked Shanahan about it afterwards, he said,
"I could say wearing the wrong shorts."
Yeah, he did. Good question. No. I wish I could wear different shorts.
This was weeks after signing a $120 million contract. The optics were terrible. It looked like a guy who was already checked out, who thought that the rules didn't apply to him anymore. But then week 5 happened, and it looked like Aiyuk was finally turning it around. Against Arizona, he had 8 receptions for 147 yards. It was his best game of the season. Maybe this was the turning point. Maybe he was finally getting comfortable. And then came October 20th, 2024, versus the Kansas City Chiefs at Levi Stadium, a Super Bowl rematch. There's 48 seconds left.
Injuries took over Nick Chubb.
Brock
Not as
Purdy throws a pass over the middle to Aiyuk, and he catches it for 15 yards. But 2 Chiefs DBs converge on him at the exact same time. Shamari Connor hits Brandon Aiyuk low, right at the knees, and Ayuk's right leg buckles. He goes down and doesn't get up. The trainers rush out. Aiyuk is on the ground for several minutes. Eventually, he limps to the sideline and into the medical tent, and then he's carted off to the locker room. At halftime, George Kittle knew it was bad when he saw Aiyuk needed crutches and a knee brace. The next day, the MRI confirmed the worst. Torn ACL, torn MCL, and possibly more damage. Aiyuk's season was over.
I didn't care why different color shorts matter. I think it's uniform, and I think it's just being the leader and, coming out there and just doing everything as the coaches say and being a leader on the team. If you do something different, then it's going to give some of the rookies the green light to do something different. And now, they're not going to do what the coaches say because, Brandon, he's the leader. He's the guy who makes $120 million. He's got the new contract. It's different ways you could take it, but, they're going to feel some leeway to kind of, bump the authority or, you know what I mean? But I think it's just leading. I think it's leading by example, if anything. How is he walking on the torn MCL or ACL? I think after it heals, again, you could walk on it after a certain point in time, but it's just playing on it, playing football on it is totally different from walking on it. Different. IDKY, I think the Broncos are frauds. We will see. With time.
He played 7 games, caught 25 passes for 374 yards, and scored 0 touchdowns. The 49ers said publicly that they expected Aiyuk
when he got
to
injured, he walked off the field.
Mid-season 2025.
Maybe adrenaline.
They put
I
him
don't
on
know.
the PUP list to start rehab, and then nothing. This is where it gets really weird. Reports started coming out that Aiyuk was showing up to the facility early in the morning to work out, but then leaving before anyone else arrived. He wasn't attending meetings. He wasn't participating in team activities. His presence at the facility had become scarce, at least according to reports. Teammates tried reaching out. Coaches tried reaching out. The organization tried reaching out. According to multiple reports, numerous members of the team tried to bring Aiyuk back into the fold, but nothing worked. Every week, reporters would ask Kyle Shanahan if they were going to open Aiyuk's practice window, and every week the answer was the same: no. Shanahan said early in November that Brandon's just week to week. When he had such a big injury like that, just waiting until he is fully comfortable to come up and start practicing. But behind the scenes, the 49ers were getting increasingly frustrated. And here's what the 49ers figured out. Aiyuk's contract had specific language in it. To receive his 2026 option bonus of $24.935.
Yeah, I said walking off after the injury is probably just adrenaline. You still got it in you. I don't know. Fresh off the field. I don't know. Generally, I don't know. But maybe again, running still somewhat off that adrenaline. You can walk off the field, but or it could be like how severe the tear is. Be
$5 million. Aiyuk And here's what the 49ers figured out. Aiyuk's contract had specific language in it. To receive his 2026 option
any early mock draft bids? Not yet.
$935 million. Aiyuk had to adhere to all provisions of the contract, including active participation in meetings and other activities as instructed by the club without unexcused interruption and suspensions. He wasn't doing that. So during training camp, yes, training camp months ago, the 49ers voided his 2026 guarantees. Over $26 million gone. They also started fining him throughout the season for his absences. But here's the part that tells you everything you need to know about where Brandon Aiyuk's head is at. When the NFL Players Association asked him if he wanted to file a grievance to fight the voiding of his guaranteed money, Aiyuk said no. He didn't.
This is wild. This is wild. He said he didn't want to fight it. And it's funny, this says this is wild. So you know what? The only thing I could assume, which is weird in my opinion, is Brandon Aiyuk wants to get out, and he's going to forfeit finances to get out of his contract, which is crazy. Now, do I believe somebody else is going to pay Brandon Aiyuk? Yes, I do. Do I believe he's going to get the same money that he got from San Fran? No, I don't. But he's going to get paid for sure. He's going to get paid nicely because there are desperate teams out there. But I don't think the reason why I say I don't think he's going to get paid the same is because how he did it. There's more to come out, so you know that perspective could be completely wrong. But how he's going about leaving San Fran is weird. Like, if he really wants to get out, this is a weird way to go about it. And I think that's gonna rub a different team the wrong way. Like, the next team is not gonna want to give you guaranteed money, or they're gonna try to lowball you on guaranteed money because they don't want you to pull this with them. So again, there are desperate teams out there. So he's gonna get paid, but it's just gonna be he's gonna make it tougher for himself with whoever the next team is. I don't see the Niners releasing him because I don't see them taking on that dead cap hit. That's gonna be huge to take on back-to-back years. You know, moving Debo and moving him, that's huge. But I can see him being released if there's a mutual agreement and he's going to give up money. So he's going to just keep voiding things from his contract with his actions, and then they can make that happen. But I don't know. Niners should have kept Max starting. He was hot. I mean, you got too much money invested into Purdy, and he's not a bad quarterback. If Purdy was playing mid or bad, then I see you could have that conversation. But this is like Davis Mills. Davis Mills went 3-0, but I mean, you're not gonna seriously start him over CJ Stroud. You got too much invested in the CJ. That's your franchise. You know, you're not gonna really do that. Let's say Purdy is just trash the rest of the season. Then yeah, you know, you revisit that later down the road, and you maybe replace him immediately. But you're not gonna do that. It's not realistic, in my opinion. Where's Aiyuk now? Aiyuk is at home, I believe. He's not. He hasn't been participating anything with the team. I don't know 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure about that. I don't know if that's factual, but yeah. What if he's sitting with the team? He made a YouTube video. He broke down crying. Was this recent? He said he made a YouTube video where he broke down crying.
Want to fight it. He was fine with them voiding the guarantees. Think about that for a second. We're talking about $26 million here. A man that literally threw a tantrum to get this contract. A man that was definitely getting compensated more than the amount that he was contributing. And Aiyuk just said,
yeah, go ahead and void it.
That's not the response of someone who wants to fix the relationship. That's someone who's already mentally checked out. So on Friday, November 21st, 2025, Diana Rossini and Michael Silver broke the story that the 49ers and Aiyuk are headed for a divorce, and that he's likely played his last game for the franchise. Sources told them there are still people in the building holding out hope that the relationship can be salvaged, but reconciliation seems unlikely.
Again, and I think you want to reconcile a relationship, not because you just love how Brandon Aiyuk is handling the situation, or you understand how he handled the situation, because I don't understand it. Like, it don't make sense to me. And I don't think there would be too many ways that it could make sense to me. But I think you want to reconcile it because, again, you don't want to have to take that dead cap hit, and you don't want this to keep dragging out. I mean, better it drag out, and you're able to keep voiding years off his contract and guarantees off his contract. That's better than releasing him, in my opinion, because at least he's still on the roster, but you're getting your money back. So at least he's on the roster at a discounted rate versus you taking the dead cap and, you know, he's not on there at all. I forgot about
So let's add all this up. In February of 2024, Brandon Aiyuk was coming off of a second-team All-Pro season. He had just played in the Super Bowl and was in line for a massive payday. 15 months later, he's lost over $26 million in guaranteed money, played in only 7 games in 2024 before getting injured, hasn't played at all in 2025, is about to be released by the team that paid him $120 million, has burned bridges with the organization, will now hit free agency in 2026, having caught a grand total of 25 passes in the last 2 years, and with major injury concerns. Remember, the New England Patriots offered him $32 million per year. The Browns offered him $30 million. The Steelers offered him $27.7 million. If he had taken any of those deals, he'd still have his guaranteed money, but he turned them all down because he wanted to stay in San Francisco, and then proceeded to do everything possible to ensure he wouldn't be in San Francisco much longer. The 49ers will have paid Aiyuk $48.9 million over 2 seasons for 7 games, 25 receptions, and 0 touchdowns. That's about $24.5 million per year for essentially 1 month of work before the injury and then radio silence. And here's the kicker. Brandon Aiyuk's story is a masterclass in how to not handle your NFL career. He had every reason to be frustrated after the Super Bowl. He was underutilized, he wanted to get paid like a top receiver, and he had legitimate gripes. But the way he handled it, it's like he was trying to burn every bridge possible. I mean, personally, if I'm getting paid like the 5th best receiver in the NFL, but I've only had 25 receptions in 7 games for that team, I'm doing everything in my power to make sure my contract doesn't get voided so I can still get paid to rehab. But now Brandon Aiyuk is about to hit free agency at 27 years old. He's coming off of 2 years where he barely played. He has a reputation as a diva wide receiver, and he's lost over $26 million in the process. Teams will be interested. He's talented, he's young, and ACL injuries aren't career enders anymore, but he's not getting $30+ million per year. He's probably looking at a short-term prove-it deal, maybe $10 to $15 million per year if he's lucky, with heavy incentives. The craziest part is this was all avoidable through multiple ways. He could have taken one of
Yeah, I think, like I said, I don't think he gets the same bread.
Back at it, back to it.
Oh, this is a year ago. I thought this was recent. Okay, a year ago is understandable. But yeah, I don't think he gets the same bread, if I'm being honest. Hopefully everything fixes itself, though. I mean, it will fix itself with time. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe, stay tuned, stay blessed.